Okay, so the video is definitely late, but for a reason. The reason being, I don't know. Let me make one up. Yeah, you have a calculator when doing these. So a lot of these, I was not too sure if you needed a video on, but I guess you still have to understand what to input on the video, in the question. Uh, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's start. So this question, I definitely can't put it into the calculator as it is, but definitely have to figure out some unknowns. This is an unknown value, so it's this whole thing's a unknown. So we take care of the unknowns, right? So we don't know what that whole thing exactly is yet. So that's an 8, no divide yet. Let me change that to a 9 divided by 2. So sorry, 3 to the third power is 3, 9, 27. We got to divide that by 2. And that's going to give us 13 and a half, right? Then we've got to subtract 3 and a half, which I can also just take care of it now and just write 10. Plus 5 times 6 minus 5. So now the rest you can just really 2, division comes first. Remember, you take care of the division and multiplication. 2 minus 10 plus 30 minus 5. So this is going to be negative 8, 22, and 22 minus 5 is 17. If I didn't do anything wrong, that's your answer. Probably get like negative 2 views on this one. Which one can be converted to terminating decimal? So remember, a terminating decimal, like a half, is a decimal that terminates because it stops right there. It doesn't continue on and on and on and on. So one of the tricks to know this, or one of the things that you should remember, is that if you break the denominators here, into its prime factors, you'll notice some similarities. So 25 is 5 and 5, so I can write 25 as 5 squared. 9 is 3 squared. 8 is 2 to the third power. You know what? Actually, I want to write it like this. 5 times 5. 9 is 3 times 3. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. 75 is 3 times 5 times 5. And 128 is 2, 4, 6, no, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Now, if you did take the time, and you would have noticed that if you inserted this in these fractions into the calculator or changed them to its decimals, this one gave you a terminating decimal that ends. This guy over here and this guy was a decimal that went on forever and ever. So how do we know? Well, one of the patterns that you could look at is that 25, 8, and 128. Their prime factors are 2 and 5. Without going too much in detail, any number that has any of the denominators that have where its prime factors, where its product is made up of prime factors that are 2, 5, or a combination of 2, will end up in a terminating decimal. Okay? Not that difficult. I should put that on your next test. This one, I don't know why I put this question in the manner that it is. So we have 2 negatives, so it's going to be negative 4/7. You want to think of this as this. Right? So we're just adding these 2 negatives. So I know my answer is going to be a negative, so we're adding the negative. So here I get 11 on this side. Here I get 9/7, which changes to 1 and 2/7. I can't have two whole numbers, so I'll add 11 and 1, and I get 12 and 2/7. So the final answer is negative 12 and 2/7. This one, we're going to, and before I change this, well, I'll write it. I'll change this to negative 5, 8/5, right? And dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, right? So it's 4/9. I multiply that by negative 5/8. Negative is my answer. Simplify before you multiply, and I'm going to get 5/18. Okay. Chess Club. Okay, what are they doing? Collected 1,274 from friend. One-fifth of one's chessboards. 3/4 of the remaining. Let's do suggestions gives the chess team how to best spend their leftover money. So let's see how much leftover they have. So it's 124 times 75. That's how much they had. So 1/5 of this, so I can multiply. This went to the chessboards. 1/5 of that person. So if I divide that by 5, right, because it's 1/5, right? So I'm going to divide 124, 124 something, 124, 0.75 divided by 124.75 divided by 5. I'm going to get that 24.95. So 24.95 was spent on chessboard. 3/4 of the money, of the remaining money. This question makes no sense. 3/4 of the remaining money. Okay, so how much do we have left over? Okay, I see it. So 124.95 was spent on chessboard, so minus 124.75. So they have this much left over after they buy their chessboards. They have $99.80 left over, right? Because I subtracted this, how much the amount spent on chessboards from how much they have. So this is how much they have left over, and from this, they're going to use 3/4 of 99.80 for tournament fees and transportation. So let's see what 3/4 of 99.80 is. It's going to be 99.80. It's going to be 74.85. So out of the 99.80, they're going to spend 74.85. So let's see how much left over they have. 99.80. And then you're going to use 3/4 of it, which is 74.85, and you're going to be left over with 99.80. It's $24.95. So what do you suggest they do with this leftover money? That was the question, but you still have to find out how much. Maybe buy books on chess, chess openings, chess plays, chess tactics. Negative 74 minus 73, we are adding these two negatives, okay, because it's the same thing as it. Right, we add the additive inverse, so we got 7 and 107, but negative. We're multiplying 3 integers here, so it's a positive times a negative, and then times a negative, that's going to give me a positive. And this is going to be just simply 15 times 6 equals 80, I think. Okay. Combine like terms. I can see, can I combine anybody here? Combine this guy with this guy. So it's negative 5 and positive 12, which is going to give me positive 7m. And then I'm going to do the m squared. So I have 2m squared. So it's a negative 8 and negative 20. So it's negative 28m squared. And the last guy does absolutely nothing. Continuing. This is a, I don't know, combine like terms, I guess, once I apply the distributive property. 14 minus 6w plus 48 minus 9w plus 15. I have 3 numbers here, 14, 48, 50, and they're all positive. And I have no idea how much that is. 14 plus 48 más 15 sale 77. Más or menos 15w. So if I put these two, combine these two, I get negative. Great. Explain why negative times a negative is a positive. So it goes back to one of the things we did earlier in the year. So let's solve this right now as it is, okay, without proving anything. So I would get negative 3. Inside the parentheses, 5 plus negative 5 is 0. And then equals 0. And then I would multiply these two, negative 3 and 0, and I get 0 over 0. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that I just proved that the left side equals the right side. So we know that this negative 3 times parentheses 5 plus negative 5 equals 0. So that is a true statement. Okay. So let me do the problem again, but this time I'm going to use the distributive property. So over here, I'm going to get negative 3 times 5 plus negative 3 times negative 5 equals 0. Now I can tell you what negative 3 times 5 is. It's 5 groups of negative 3, right? So I had negative, 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 one group, negative, 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 and another group of negative. So I have 5 groups of negative 3. And remember that multiplying is repeated addition, so if I were to combine all these sad faces, I would get negative 15. So I can prove and I can show you why negative 3 times 5 equals negative 15. Okay, so this is the easy part. So pretend you did not know the rule for a negative times a positive. You could have just explained it this way. Now, the second part, I need to find out what negative 3 times negative 5 is. Well, I can't use this because I don't know how to make negative 5 groups of negative 3. I just don't know how to do that. Okay, I don't think it's possible. But I do know that according to our number operation, according to our problem, that this whole thing has to equal 0. So negative 15 plus what number would give you 0? Just by using logic. So if I had no other choice in the world, negative 3 times negative 5 must equal to a positive 15 in order for this whole sentence to equal 0. There's absolutely no other choice. Okay, and we already know that it has to equal 0 because we proved it before. Right? So a negative 3 times a negative 5, or a negative times a negative, is going to be a positive 15. Okay, only by using just common sense. Okay. But next one, we want to do something that you did for your project, which I still have to return to you coming this week. 2y equals 12. I multiply both sides by 2. I'm going to add, 10 to both sides. So I get 2y plus 10 equals 22. Distributive property, let me pull out 2, which is common. Let me add a variable on both sides, so 2y plus 5, and let me add 8y on this side, and I'm going to add 22 plus 8y on the other side. So now I have a multi-step equation with variables on both sides. And distributive property, if I want to change anything to a fraction, so I would take this one, the two-step equation, change that to a fraction just to make it easy. Let's divide it by 5. So there, my coefficient now is over 5. Plus 10 divided by 5, which is just 2, and 22 divided by 5, right? So I'm going to get 22 divided by 5, but I don't want to write and leave it as a improper. So 5 goes to 22 4 times, 2 left over. So now I just change this equation to something as a fraction, and my coefficient is a fraction. Okay, and that's what I want. So if I want to change that same equation to something with a decimal, divided by something, divided by 0.1, make it easy. Again, we can divide it by whatever you want, 0.4, 0.9, 0.8, but I'm just trying to show you how to change that to something with a decimal. I just divide by 10 just to make life easy, and that's what I would have gotten. Okay, especially that my coefficient is a decimal as well. Done. Move. Okay, so we have a 3x plus 12 plus 5x equals 5x plus 48. I'm going to subtract minus 5x from both sides, and I'm going to be left over with 3x plus 12 equals 48. Minus 12, 3x equals 36. Divide by 3, divided by 3, x equals 3. Okay, so my check is pretty simple. It's going to be 3 times 3 plus 4 plus 5 times 3 equals 3 plus 48 plus 4 times 3. So hopefully the left side equals the right side. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 15, I get 36 on that side. On this side, what is it, 48? Okay. Something is not right. This is definitely not right. If you're getting something, 3x plus 12x, 3x plus 12 plus 5x equals 5x plus 48. That's okay. Minus 5x, this cross out, and I do minus 12 on both sides, that's 36, that becomes 0. Divide by 3. X equals not 3, but X equals 12. There you go. So I completely messed up. I have to rewrite this. So it's 3 parentheses 12 plus 4 plus 5 times 12 equals 12 plus 48 equals plus 4 times 12. 12 times 4 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. 5 times 12 is 60. So on the left side, I get 108. Right side, I get 12 plus 48 plus 48 again. 48 plus 48 is 96, and 96 plus 12 is 108. Good. Negative 4y plus 8 is less or equal to 16, minus 8, minus 8. Negative 4y less or equal to 8. Oops. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, and I get y is greater than negative 2. Graph, negative 2, negative 1, negative 3. Definitely shade, and we want numbers that are greater than negative 2, so they're on that side. I want to check. I will pick a number that is greater than negative 2 just to see, and I'll pick 0 because 0 is on this side, and 0 makes life easy. I get negative 2, and then I got 2 times 0 inside, minus 4, less or equal to 16. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 is just negative 4, and negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. 8 is less than 16. Check. More? I think there is more. Shoo. Hopefully not too many more. 12. Hopefully you did this in 2 parts. Right, Ted's work at a shoe store. He earns 174 plus 225. Last he took, okay, he sells more than 50 pairs of shoes in a week. He gets an extra bonus of 50. Will he get the bonus? I have no idea. So let's see what he did last week. So last week he made $288.75. How did he earn that? He earned that by getting his 174 guaranteed plus 2.25 for every pair of shoes that he sells. Okay, so let's see how many pair of shoes he sold last week. Okay, so it's minus 174 minus 174. Cancels out. I bring 2.25p down equals 0.7541. So out of the 288.75, 174 was his guaranteed money, and then the leftover, which is 114.75, he made it by selling, making extra money by selling shoes. So 114.75 divided by 2.25, 114.75 divided by 2.25 equals, and last week he sold 51 pairs of shoes. Will he get the bonus? Yes, he will, because he sold more than 50. Inequality. Maggie has at most means it's not going to pass 89, so but it can touch 89. She plans to watch 2 movies at $12.50, so 2 movies at $12.50, and eat dinner with her friends for $35, and buy comic books for $2.99. Oh, this sounds familiar. So how many comic books, I guess? Because I know how many movies, the cost per movie, so she's going to spend $25 for the movie, plus $35 for the dinner, and then plus $2.99 per comic book. That should have been written as 60, by the way, right? 60 plus 2.99c is less or equal to 89, minus 60, 2.99, c less or equal to 89. Now divide both sides by 2.99. Let's see how many comic books, not 89, 29, by the way. Let's see how many comic books you can buy. So 29 divided by 2.99 equals 9 points. So the number of comic books that she can buy is 9.69. I'm going to round it to 6.70. And the number of comic books you can buy is the maximum is 9, but you can't buy 0.70th of a comic book. Some of the questions are a little harder. Minus 10. Minus 10. Cross that out. You get absolute value of 4x minus 8 is greater than 2. When is this true? Well, this is true. This is an and. This is an what do you call or problem. It is true. So if you think about when is the absolute value of something greater than 2? Well, it's greater than or equal to 2 when it's 2. or more. Absolute value of 2 is greater or equal to 2. Absolute value of 3, 4, 5. So anything on that way. If you take the absolute value of 1, doesn't work. 0 doesn't work. Negative 1 doesn't work. But if you take the absolute value of negative 2, it works. It is greater or equal to 2. And if you take the absolute value of any number that's less than that, it also will make this true. So when you set this, you're going to set two inequalities. 4x minus 8 has to be greater than 2. And then 4x minus 8 has to be less than negative 2. So there are your two conditions. Plus 8, you get 4x is greater than 10, and x is going to divide by 4 on both sides. It's going to be 5 over 2, or 2.5. So when x is greater than 2.5, this will happen. And plus 8, sorry. You get 4x less or equal to 6. Divide by 4, and x is going to be less than 3/2, or 1.5. So that would have been your answer. Okay, and the graph for that would have been this: 2.5. So any number that way, this is 1.5, and any number that way, you can pick any value of x on this side or on this side, and we place it here, and it would make that inequality true. Okay. Hopefully you remember how to do these. These are silly. Area of a rectangular pyramid. So remember, area equals base times height, or length times width. Let's use length times width. I'm given that this is 920.2. Okay, I'm just going to write it as a decimal. I don't know the length, but I know the width is 25.5. So now this becomes a one-step equation. I divide both sides by 25.5. Divide this side by 25.5. These two go adios, and my length is 920.2. 0.2 divided by 25.5. And that's going to give us 36, and we're going to round this, 36.09 feet. Okay. That's fine. If you did it with a fraction, that's fine too. You probably didn't have to round it. Tub of ice cream has this much. You want to find out how many of these are inside in there, so it's a division problem. 2830 over 7 times 8 over 1. Nothing to simplify. 240 over 7. That's going to give us, I have no idea, 240 divided by 7. So we can 321, 30, 428, 2 left over. So you can make 34 servings, full servings, 2/7 of the next serving available. That's your final answer. A pool of water has 25.5 fifth gallons. So it's filling up a ratio of 9. So it's every 20 seconds. So 9 3/4 gallons for 20 seconds. After 24 minutes, how full will it be? Well, let's find the unit rate, because it makes my life much easier. So I'm going to change this to minutes. Okay, so change this to minutes. So in order to change that to minutes, how did 20 seconds become 1 minute? Or, you know what? Ooh. I shouldn't write 20 minutes. I should write 60 seconds. So it's a times 3. Times 3. And I would find the rate for a minute. So on my calculator, I don't have fractions. So 9.75 times 3. We get 29.25 gallons in 60 minutes. Sorry, not in 60 minutes. In 1 minute. What am I doing here? In 1 minute. Right? There's my unit rate. So now, therefore, if I want to find out how much in 24 minutes, it's just easy. Times 24 times 24. And I get 702 gallons. In 24 minutes, but I already have 25.5 and 1/5, so it'd be 702 plus 25 and 1/5, and I would get 727.2 gallons after 24 minutes. You can't forget that we have that much water in the pool already. Okay, So that's it.